Hello and welcome to News Across Nigeria. I'm Imana Amawe. Coming up on the program today. The Inspector General of Police sends a team to Niger State to investigate jailbreak. Benue State provides returning IDP farmers with fertilizers. And cholera outbreak kills one in KADUNA State. Welcome to the program that brings you news from the north, south, east and west of Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari is currently holding a closed-door meeting with service chiefs at the presidential villa in Abuja. Channels Television gathered that an appraisal of the security situation in the country is expected to be discussed at the meeting. Also in attendance are the National Security Advisor, the Minister of Defense, the Director General of the NIA, and the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Ibrahim Idris. It's the second time the President will be meeting with the service chiefs this week, after they met behind closed doors on Monday night. Our correspondent Gloria Umezuke tells us more.
First of all, the President met with heads of military yesterday. Today it is a turn of heads of all security agencies in what is supposed to be a routine meeting. The meeting started about noon and they came out for a 15-minute break by 2 p.m., after which the meeting resumed. So now we understand that among other security issues, they might be discussing the recent killings in the northwestern states, including Zamfara and Kaduna. There might be a plan to replicate the Operation Safe Haven, which is touted successful in Plateau, Nasarawa, and Benue. Now, the sense just might be that this program, which was used to tackle the issue of herdsmen crisis, will be used to address the recent killings, which intensified in the northwestern states of Zamfara and Kaduna. But of course, we also know that after this meeting, which hasn't ended as we speak, the Minister of Defense is expected to issue a statement.
Meanwhile, lawmakers from the two chambers of the National Assembly are also holding an emergency joint session at the National Assembly complex in Abuja. Details of the meeting are still unknown, but our correspondent Linda Akigbe reports that the lawmakers are holding the session behind closed doors and have barred the journalists from covering it. She gives us an update on the meeting and the likely issues to be discussed.
Extremely rare move. The Senate and the House of Representatives are in an emergency executive joint session. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, at plenary announced that both houses will be having a joint executive session at noon. Now in the Senate, the majority and minority leaders announced that the joint session will be to discuss the state of the nation. As I said earlier, it's extremely rare for both houses of a National Assembly to hold an emergency executive joint session. And we're not sure if this has happened since the return to democracy in 1999. What we've had are joint sessions, but not joint closed-door sessions. Now, because lawmakers are meeting behind closed doors, we are not privy to what specifically is being discussed. However, the meeting may not be unconnected with the killings of Nigerians across the country. Now, both chambers had resolved to invite President Muhammadu Buhari to brief lawmakers on what the federal government is doing to put an end to these killings. Now, the meeting may also not be unconnected with the recent travails of the Senate President, the alleged withdrawal of some security operatives attached to the Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, as well as the impasse between the new PDP and the APC. Now, we'll bring you more details after the session ends. From the National Assembly, Linda Akibe, Channels Television News.
And a team of investigators acting on the directive of the Inspector General of Police has arrived in Minna, the Niger state capital, to investigate Sunday's attack on the Minna maximum prisons by armed bandits. The team, led by the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Taiwo Lakanu, was received by the Niger State Commissioner of Police before proceeding to the Minna maximum prisons for an assessment of the level of damage done. The bandits had launched an attack on the prison facility on Sunday night, killing a prison official and a motorcycle rider, while 210 inmates escaped. The Assistant Inspector General of Police, Taiwo Lakanu, is, however, optimistic that more arrests will be made in no distant time.
It's obvious that we're the first responder when issues like this occur. So we're trying our best to, work hand in hand to collaborate with the prison officials. We have some good information. We've started effecting arrests, and we hope to do more. We are trying to work hand in hand with members of the public. We are passing information around. We are having meetings with stakeholders later in the evening tonight to see if we could, summon them, get information from them, so that we can effect more arrests.
The Catholic Church in Nigeria is calling for an end to the incessant killings in parts of the country allegedly perpetrated by herdsmen, following several attacks on communities, especially in Benue State, and on Christian faithful. Catholics in Imo State, that's in southeast Nigeria, are raising their voices in protest against the violence, while the church in Adamawa State in the northeast is holding a special prayer session.
Christian faithful continue to take a stand against killings in the country. In Imo State, southeast Nigeria, Catholics are protesting against the violence and bloodshed in Benue State and other parts of the country. They're demanding that the mayhem be brought to an end.
We are also sending an open letter to President Muhammadu Buhari, which will be read in the church, asking him to defend unarmed, unprotected Nigerians and disarm violent headsmen and criminals.
In the meantime, the cross, a symbol of hope for Christian faithful all over the world, stands tall at the Immaculate Heart of Mary Mountain in Baza, Michika local government area of Adamawa State. Here, Catholics in their thousands are also protesting over the killings, but this time through prayer. Michika is one of the areas liberated by the military from Boko Haram insurgents, but the insurgency remains fresh in their memories, even as the community transits to becoming victims of attacks allegedly committed by herdsmen this time.
Killings are definitely not according to the plans of the Lord. Those who kill are agents of the devil. We want to say no to killing. We are protesting that the federal government should intervene and stop senseless killings of Nigerians.
The church applauds the military for its efforts in the area, but there's an appeal to the government to adopt proactive measures to protect Nigerians.
The church is really voicing out their suffering, voicing out their cry to the federal government and indeed to all concerned people that the killing in the country is too much. The sufferings we're experiencing in the country is too much, and we need most importantly peace in our country, Nigeria, and also in our diocese.
Peace has returned to some of the ravaged parts of the northeast, but it's still considered fragile as the Catholic Church and other Christians across the country continue to pray for the violence to end.
Farmers in Benue State are getting ready for the 2018 cropping season as the state government distributes 5,000 metric tons of fertilizers to them. We have details shortly.